Hey, how's it going everyone? The server slam came and went way too fast, but launch is quickly approaching. So since the server slam is done, I wanted to give you a small recap and share my opinion on things. Before we get started, I do have to mention that I had a limited amount of time to play due to some IRL stuff. So my opinion may be different than others, as I only had a chance to play on Sunday for about 7 hours. Overall, I thought the server slam was good. The length of it was fine, they had some new stuff in there, and for the most part, I've heard good things from a lot of players. However, there are some things that were brought up that I wanted to touch upon. First, the length. While I felt like it was long enough, others were saying it was too short, and I think if anything you could have made some level 2 workbenches be available, but I think that also would have had some negative effects. For example, those playing more hours could get to the higher tier loot and workbenches, and there would be no way to avoid them if you started late, like how I did. Diving deeper into this, I feel like a lot of people enjoyed what was available fairly quickly and wanted more, but it was locked. This I would say is a side effect of alcoholism, but for new players they could take this as a letdown. To be honest, I'm not sure how to solve this for those players without them having faith that the whole game will have 10 times the amount of content that the slam had. That being said, there is something I did have a problem with locking content for launch, and that would be the creation of a loot gap. Touched on this a second ago, but what I'm talking about is if you have a slower playstyle or like questing, you will fall behind players that play riskier. The only way to get to high tier loot from my experience was to go to hotter areas. The players who dive into high tier areas first and are able to get better weapons and equipment will be more successful in head to head PvP scenarios. Normally you would combat this by crafting your own high tier equipment, but that was not available. Combine that with being limited to one map, and that increases the odds to run into someone running higher tier weapons. Now this all could be due to my limited playtime and being on the last day, but I'd like to think that if a new player happened to only be able to play during that same time, they would be left with a bitter taste. Moving to another topic that I've seen discussed thoroughly, Arc difficulty. I've seen a lot of comments on how the Arc were difficult to fight and that there should be a PvP only mode. In my opinion, those would be bad decisions. Here's why. Arc difficulty. While I feel the Arc were buffed a little bit, you can still destroy them pretty quickly if you know how to fight them. This speaks more to a game IQ problem rather than a balancing issue. Moving to the PvE only mode comments, I feel like making that kind of mode would strip away a lot of what makes Arc so good. By adding a PvE only mode, I feel like that gives a sense of security and strips away from the unpredictability of what happens in raids, and in my opinion that makes it just less interesting overall. Also, it would be a disservice to Embark, getting rid of a lot of hard work to get the game where it is now. I say that because their Arc Raiders was originally going to be PvE before shifting to Extraction PvPvE kind of a game. What I will say regarding the difficulty of Arc is not how to combat them, but rather the distance that they can spot you. There were many times I was spotted from far too far away and had to deal with PvE. I have a feeling that there may be a perk to help with this, but a small nerf may make it so that perk is not a crutch just to run around. This is a good time to express some of my own personal concerns with the server slam. Firstly, the anvil was oppressive. To me it felt like a level 1 anvil and a level 3 or 4 Pharaoh hit about the same, but with the anvil you could fire more due to having a larger mag, as well as having a higher movement speed. To me, it made running the Pharaoh not an option when solo. Now I do get starting fresh when a lot of people have hours, and most likely running the anvil is not the best idea. But I feel like you should have to get the anvil to level 2 to be able to 2-tap someone in green armor. I don't know, maybe this is a little bit of salt coming from getting jumped when fighting Arc 1 too many times, but let me know what you guys think. The other complaint I have is the carry capacity without the looting augment. It felt miserable. I feel like I had to min-max the loot I was finding, and if I happen to fight someone and want their kit, that was the only thing I could do before getting over encumbered. This might also have a perk available to help, so there may be a solution available, but I'm hoping it's not too far into the skill tree. Anyway, I'm excited for launch and trying to tie up loose ends in preparation. I hope those who were able to play enjoyed their time, and if anyone disagreed with anything I mentioned, feel free to comment it down below. I did have one raid from the server slam I wanted to share, so I'll try to get that posted before launch, but we'll see. That's all that I have, and I just wanted to say I hope everyone has a nice day, and then I'll see you on the next one.